I want to welcome AgileXRM to the podcast. I've known the people at AgileXRM for the past 12 years. I've seen how their business process management tool can add massive value to complex organizational processes in sectors such as finance and government. If you have complex processes or a need for dialogues on the Power Platform or Dynamics 365, take a look at how this BPM tool can add value. You can find them at AgileXRM.com or check out the show notes for more details. Welcome to the MVP Show. You might have heard about the 90-day mentoring challenge. If it's something you're interested in, check it out, ako.nz365guy.com. With that, let's get on with today's show. Today's guest is from Paris in France. He is the Power Platform technical consultant from Avanade. He's one of the youngest MVPs in the business application category. You can check him out on Twitter, De Castro Allan, or on his blog.allandcastro.com. Welcome to the show, Allan De Castro.
Hey, Roma.
Hello. Good to have you on the show all the way from France.
Yeah, thanks. It's a real pleasure for me.
Well, tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about your family. What you like to eat, as in what are you a foodie and what are you into do? What do you get up to for entertainment?
Okay, sure. Basically, I come from a small city in south of France. It's called Valence, and I have like a sister. That's all. And I decided to move to Paris, but before I had already worked in Lyon and in Montpellier. So I did like 3 big cities in France. And as a hobbies, I love to practice some sports like boxing, snowboarding, etc. And yep, that's all.
Wow. Tell us about Valence. What's it famous for?
I would say that it's all about food because it's where the famous chef Anne-Sophie Pic is born, so it's a well-known person.
What's the most famous food it's Valence is known for?
Basically, there's not a lot of specialties or something like that. It's more we have one it's like a candy. I would say it's called nougat.
Yeah. I know nougat.
Maybe okay. It's not really Valence. It's just a city next to Valence, but that's all. Yeah.
What about wine? Is there much wine come from Valence?
Yeah. There's a lot basically. It's the same thing. We have a lot of small city near to Valence, and for example, we have a Hermitage, etc., where we have a lot of wine exploitation.
That beautiful region that's known for it. Not far from Morocco, I see as well. Sorry, Monaco, is it? It's Monaco, it's close by.
Yep, it's not so far, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. What a nice region of France to come from. So tell us a bit about your journey into IT. How did you get into technology?
I think it started during high school. When I just started to play some game, etc., and I started to ask myself a lot of questions about how does it work, etc. And I started to work on myself, to learn some programming stuff, etc. And after that, I decided to continue my studies in a specific diploma to get a degree in network system and telecommunication. But I wasn't really in love with this sector. So that's why I decided to move to another, to another sector, like all about, the management stuff in the IT world. But at the moment, I decided to go back to the technical stuff, and especially into the CRM world. So I started as a basic analyst, and I was like a technical and a functional consultant. So because I learned all of the technical stuff from scratch, and the functional stuff was something quite common for me. It's quite logic for me, when we talk about the business, we try to imagine a lot of stuff, etc. But I learned everything was the technical side myself, basically.
And so what took you into the area, particularly with Microsoft Business Applications?
It's basically because my master degree was in collaboration with Microsoft. It's the trial. I think it doesn't exist anymore, but it means that we had like two person, one person from Microsoft and another person from companies, who teach us a lot of things about Dynamics 365. So at this moment, we talked about only customer engagement. But they told us a lot of things. So it's like a master degree, but with a CRM option, I would say.
Wow, I didn't even know that this was happening in universities.
Yep, they try now to have some partnership with some schools and to try to bring some people in this sector.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Yep, definitely. And the good point is, with this master degree, we needed to perform an internship, and so Microsoft recommended us to work with some special partner, Dynamics partner. So I started to work at CGI.
Okay.
Yep, and then I decided to move to Avenade, Paris.
Right. So tell me a bit about what you in your day-to-day job now. What's the type of work you do?
Basically, as I said, now I'm a fully technical consultant about the whole Power Platform. So I'm good at all the Dataverse and customer engagement stuff, with all the development aspects, server side, client side, with a little bit of Azure for integration purpose. Virtual agent, of course, flows, and not a lot of Power BI. I can say it's another big world. But so I come on specific projects as a technical lead, and sometime, as I said, I have an history about all the functional stuff. So sometime I act as a functional consultant, or I help some other functional guys to accomplish, all the requirement analysis, etc., etc.
So I know you've done a bit or looked into a bit around AZURE Synapse and Dataverse. Where do you see those two technologies coming together?
Yeah, basically, it comes from the fact that at the moment, when we decide to have some business intelligence reporting, it's quite complicated to execute it directly into the Dynamics 365 / Dataverse environment. So Microsoft has introduced the fact to export to an Azure SQL database, and then they evolve this to a data lake and then to Azure Synapse. And I think that it's the way to work now, because in the CRM world, I think that we do not take advantage of the data generated, and so I think it's the best. It's very a must-have, I would say, to export this data and try to analyze this using Azure Synapse.
Right. And part of Azure Synapse, right, includes the ability to use Azure machine learning against that data as well, right? Am I correct there?
Yep, exactly. It's all, Azure Synapse is a lot of services, which is like plugged into data lake. So you can you just export the data into data lake, but if you export it to Azure Synapse, it will also stored in a data lake, but you will have a lot of services to perform some analysis, to exactly apply some machine learning algorithm. If you want to calculate, I don't know, some churn alert, etc. So it's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I remember rightly, it's designed to handle data like petabytes of data, right? Large scale data can be ingested.
Definitely, it's like the new, the new data warehouse.
Yeah.
It's used to perform a lot of big data stuff.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Tell me, how did you how did you end up becoming an MVP? What was the process for you?
Basically, I started to imagine this in like 2019 because I was very young in this world. And so I started, as I said, I learned a lot of things myself. So it means that I was always on internet and navigating from a blog to another one, etc., etc. So I started to understand how the thing work and how we can learn by consuming all the blog posts of anyone. And at the moment, I wanted to know, I wanted to have a personal notebook where I explain what was my finding, etc., because I encountered a specific problem or anything. And I started like this. And so that's why I started a blog, but it was only for myself to start to write some stuff, because it's not so easy to write an article. I mean, you start from a blank page and you have to explain everything. And I started like this. And after a moment, I created some assets in the community, some SPCF stuff. And someone called me if I was interested to perform a live session directly for another specific event, for community events, but at Microsoft France. So I accepted it. And after that experience, I say that, okay, maybe I can continue that. And so I started again.
That's so good. And then who nominated you? How did the nomination process go?
Basically, someone asked me 2 years ago if I wanted to be nominated, but I was waiting the good moment, basically. I just wanted to it's all about credibility, etc. I mean, if you have a lot of person asking if they can nominate you or saying that, oh, you're not an MVP, it's strange. It means that it's a good moment. And it's only at this moment I say that, okay, I will try to get nominated.
That's so good. Such a good story. My final question before we just do some quickfire questions. If other people are considering becoming an MVP, what would your recommendations to them be?
I think it's all about the passion. If you're not passionate about your job or basically on the subject that you want to talk about, it will be really difficult. So you have to be passionate about that. And to start small, I mean, you don't have to have, to do like 20 session per year. Start with a blog with some, maybe only 4 articles per year, but to ensure that you will have the habits to write something, to perform a presentation as a speaker, because it's another step to speak in front of a lot of people, even if they are maybe sometimes better than you. I mean, as I said, I'm quite young in this world. I only have 5 years of experiences, so it's sometimes hard to have a lot of, when you have a bench of MVP here, and you have to talk about a specific topic, you need to ensure that you master your subject.
Yeah, it's so good. So good hearing your story. Okay, I always like to finish with some quickfire questions, which are very random. Here's your first one.
Okay.
Would you rather live in an apartment in the city or in a mansion in the country?
Mansion in a country.
Nice. What country do you never want to go back to? So a country you've visited, but you don't think you'll ever go back there.
Oh, it's quite hard, basically. No idea, definitely.
No idea. That's all right. Last one. What's the best hotel you've ever stayed in?
Oh, I think it was Hotel George V at Paris.
Nice. What was nice about it?
I mean, it's a luxury hotel, so you have anything you want with a lot of attention. All the rooms are really clean. So yeah.
Beautiful. Allan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Mark.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP, Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you like the show and you want to support it, please check it out on buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Thanks again. See you next time.